Hey guys, Matthew here. So today, not only were we doing part 5 of the How to Act series, but we will also doing part 6 because I promised Act 1 to 10 before the start of Legion, so I will try my best to make it happen. So, part 6 is honestly kind of a little bit like part 5. Act 6 has very static layouts, very simple rules to follow, very limited amount of seeds, and all in all, a very quick act to get through. So you'll start in Lionized Watch. If you need a certain skill gem at this point from Lily, you'll have to do the Twilight Strand quest, but we won't be doing that as a Toxic Rain character because we'll have all the gems we need when we get there. So for the most part, when you get to the coast, it is the exact same thing than it was back when you did the coast in Act 1. So you wanna do the exact same thing, and it's gonna lead you to the exact same waypoint, literally. Once again, the exact same thing for the Tidal Island. Nice little circle. Um, you don't even have to kill the boss. There is a boss. Sometimes it's going to be part of a challenge for given leagues, Riptide. Sometimes it's not. After getting the quest item, though, you simply want to log out. This quest gives you accessories, I believe, when you talk to Bestel. But you can totally skip it if you already have like a good belt and a good amulet, stuff like that. Not necessarily useful in that regards. So after doing that, you'll want to head over to the Mudflats. The Mudflats is basically the exact same thing that it was in Act 1. The thing is, where the old entrance to the putrid whatever thing is called, where you get the uh, regrets from doing the quest, with the putrid pool, I believe is what it's called. Wherever that used to be in that layout is now going to be the Reef Fortress, and wherever the quest place was, where the little waterfall was in the mudflats before, will be where the Dishonored Queen will be for you to get her eye, I believe, to be able to access the fortress. So I'm gonna give you guys an example. Typically, it's following the upper side wall. Just following the wall will lead you to the Karui Fortress. And if you keep going on, as you can see, we'll see the little thing here. This is where you'd have to go for the Submerged Passage in Act 1. Well, at this time around, this is where the Dishonored Queen is going to be. And, you just kill her, get the quest item, and then we'll be able to head over into the Karui Fortress. Let me just put myself on D&D. Okay, my bad. That was, forgot about that. So, the Karui Fortress. For the most part, it's just a circle. You can go one way or the other. I'm not sure it really matters. But for the most part, you just want to hug the closest part, and that will lead you to the Tukahama's Keep, where you'll fight Tukahama to get your extra skill point, and then if you keep going on, you'll have another door that will lead you to the Ridge. The Ridge is basically the ledge in Act 1. It has basically two seeds as far as I'm concerned. One which will start this way, and one which will start that way. So in this seed over here, where the layout is here, you basically want to hug the right side. So for example, if I went here, right? For the most part, all of the actual roads are going to lead you to the right place, but as you can see, some of them are just much longer around. While in here, if I would have hugged the right hand side, which is this side here, it would have led me directly to the right place for the quest. Oh wait, I'm stupid. It's a little bit further. Imagine, which will be right about here. A little bit further up here. And there you go. So that was one seed. Then there is one more seed. In this seed, if the dead end is on this side, you want to hug basically the closest side to where the waypoint was. So, for example, this, you want to hug that side all the way to the end until you hit a wall. And then you go straight up until you hit another wall, and then follow that until you reach the lower prison. That being said, there's another layout. Instead of being this side, the dead end will be that side. In that layout, you basically want to do the opposite. So instead, you'll be going over here up. then there, and then once again you'll be able to follow a little ledge. You just do that, and same again, when you hit a wall you start going up, and the exit will be around here instead. So for the most part it's just the same, but it's mirrored, kinda. Alright, so lower prison is kind of like lower prison in Act 1, except that for the most part the layout is almost always going to be on the bottom side instead of the top side, like most of the time. Sometimes it's still going to be top side and it's going to be the exact same as it used to be, but for the most part it's mostly going to be bottom side, and it's going to follow the same rules as it did in Act 1. So for example, here I see that the exit is here and the trial of ascendancy is going to be here, and how lucky we also get a corrupted zone. That being said, while it does follow, I'll go ahead and reset it, follow the same rules as it did in Act 1, there are quite a bit of layouts possible for the lower prison in Act 6, and it does get a little bit confusing, so I advise taking a very fast character and running through like a good, 20, 30, 40, 50 times or whatever, to get a good feel about what's going on. As you can see, I've ran this layout enough times to pretty much know where I'm going. Whoops. Except when I run into dead ends because I'm not paying attention. But for the most part, as soon as I come into a zone and I see one or two walls, I know exactly where I'm going every time. And that just comes with practice. I haven't leveled like 78 different characters, nothing like that. Just take a really fast character and go on through, and you'll figure the layouts really quickly. So for example, in this one I hit a wall there, couldn't go up. So I started heading this way, and then when I saw it was opening towards the bottom, I knew 100% it was going to be here, the exit, just like in Act 1. That being said, the trial, I don't know for a fact if it's always going to be there, but I think it is. So that would be a pretty bad layout, because, I have to go all the way to the trial and backtrack my way to the Chevron's Tower. There's not much you can do about it, though. It's just going to happen. So once you hit the Chevron's Tower, for the most part, it's very simple. You want to follow along just the layout, and whenever you see like a little bridge, right, you want to cross it. So for example, when I see a bridge, let's see, where's there a bridge? Oh, a bridge here, I want to cross that, because for the most part, these are going to be just a quicker way through. But they're very linear layouts. You're not going to save that much time by doing this or by doing anything else. But if you save yourself a few seconds here and there, why not, right? No reason to not do it. So as you can see, very, very simple. And prison rooftop. Once you killed the boss, you can actually log out. And when you log back in, despite what you may think, you will have the Prisoner's Gate waypoint. You don't actually have to go through like all the little layouts to get outside. You can actually just log out and you'll get the waypoint. The Prisoner's Gate follows the same exact rules on the Prisoner's Gate in Act 1. If you follow the road, it is going to lead you to the next zone to keep going with the storyline. And if you go on the side where there is a cliff, for example this cliff, and I follow along this instead, and I just keep going, this will lead me to the skill point quests right here, as you can see. Just like normally in Act 1, when you follow the road, it would be blocked because you hadn't done the way forward quest, and when you follow along the cliffside, it would lead you to the ship graveyard. Well, now it's leading you to the actual place, and the other place leads you to the skill point quest. The Western Forest is a very simple layout. There's nothing to do here. You just follow the road. Just follow the road. You don't need the waypoint here. You just want to follow the road along. And once you get to the end of the road, head over into the riverways, and this place is a little bit more important. The riverways also has a skill point quest, so you'll want to follow the road until you hit the waypoint. When you reach the waypoint, it's basically like an Act 2. When you reach the riverways, yeah, Act 2. That was Act 2. You want to look for this little break in the path, if you want to call it that, and follow that, and that will lead you to the wetlands, where you will have the skill point quest after killing the poison thing. Right, Slava is, I believe, is what she's called. The wetlands, for the most part, the exit, or not the exit, sorry, but the boss room is always going to be located on the left-hand bottom side-ish, bottom middle side. So if you want to play it safe, following along the cliff on this side will always 100% lead you to the right place, as you can see. But I would advise, if you don't want to waste too much time, to just basically make a beeline. So I'll go ahead and reset the zone to show you what I mean. What I would advise, which will save you times, most of the time anyways, is just a beeline, basically in a very slight diagonal line from the entrance to the like top left-ish. So for example, something like this, and then this should lead me a little bit quicker than if I was to follow along the cliffs, right? So a little bit faster, you know, a few seconds gained here and there, make a whole lot of difference in the end. Every second counts, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. If you want to play it safe, just follow along the cliff. So once you've done that, you can log out, get your waypoint back to the riverways, and we're back to following the road. So we'll go ahead and follow the road until we hit the end of it, where there is a camp like this, and then we just make a right-hand side turn until we reach the Southern Forest. The Southern Forest kind of follows the same exact rule than it did in Act 2. That being said, you can't just follow the cliff because there will be, you know, actual breaks in the cliff. So I'll show you guys how to run that most efficiently. So you want to follow the cliff along and follow the top side always. But sometimes, as you see here, you won't be able to. So what you do is you jump to the next part and then just head over to the opposite wall there, and then just follow that along, and that will lead you straight to the Cavern of Anger. The Cavern of Anger, I really don't have a whole lot to say about it. Don't forget to pick up the flag. When you get to the Cavern of Anger, like I said, I really don't have much of a guide about this one. I myself struggle a little bit in this layout. I always try to go basically like the same rule that applies to literally every other layout in the game, in my opinion. Head to the opposite direction of wherever the entrance of the layout was. So as you see, the entrance was here, the exit was here. But that could have been a complete, you know, debate. The exit could have been here, it could have been here. So I got lucky, for example. Let's just put it like that. I don't really know any rule of thumbs to follow in the Cavern of Anger, unfortunately. The beacon, though, is fairly simple. I believe it's pretty much a static layout. You just want to follow along the cliff side, top cliff side. And then once you get to the point where you can just beeline straight through, just go ahead and do that. Then you can follow the shore along. Wait, the shore along. Wait, where is it? Okay, this side. And that will lead you to this place. Whenever you see this thing, this little wait, what's going on here? Whenever you see this little path, this very linear path, that means you're on the right place, and that will open up to this area, the beacon, where you actually do the quest. I believe every single movement speed in the movement skill in the game can do this, which I'm about to show you. Basically, you want to head in this corner right here. Like there's this little the beacon thing right there, and like this, as you can see, there's like lines right there. You want to face this one right there, pretty much, ish, anyways. And you should be able to blink arrow or flame dash all the way down without having to take the stairs fairly easily. The Brine King's Reef, which will be the last zone in this act, which, as I said, is a very, very fast act. Like, honestly, extremely fast. Even with the side quests and the bosses and the trial and stuff, an extremely fast act. That being said, the Brine King's Reef is probably where you'll spend most of your time because this layout is a struggle. I have not found anything that I can give you in terms of you follow this along or follow that. It seems to be completely random. What I'll typically do is I'll follow along one of the sides, be it one or the other, and I'll just follow along the edge of it as I kill monsters for XP because there's quite a bit of good density in here. And at some point, eventually in my life, I'll reach it. As you can see, I reached it. Didn't take too long. But the thing is, the exit didn't have to be here. It could have been here. It could have been there. It could have been like, could have been all over the damn place. So not a whole lot I can give you in terms of tips and tricks for the Brine King's Reef. It's just a crappy layout, to be honest. I don't like it at all. It's probably one of my least favorite layout. I feel like I never get it right. But that's okay because the rest of Act 6 is so freaking easy. Like, the coast is obviously the same as in Act 1. The Tidal Island, same as in Act 1. Mudflats, same as in Act 1. With, like I said, where the Putrid Pool was, you'll have the fortress entrance, and where the quest was with the waterfall to the Summer's Passageway, you'll actually just have the Dishonored Queen. You kill her, you get the quest item, and you're good to go. Reef Fortress is just literally just a circle. The Ridge, I already gave you guys the two seeds that are possible in the layout. I don't think there's any other ones. I feel like no matter how many times I reset the zone, it's literally always the same. Um, so given where the dead end is, I'll do one or the other, layout, and for the most part, it always brings me to the right place. If you encounter the boss, the unique in the ridge, you know you're on your way to the right place. That's a nice little thing to note. Whenever you see the little electric wheel guy, you know you're on the right path. The prison, except for the lower prison, because there's no upper prison in Act 6. The lower prison can be a little bit annoying, but as soon as you get in a Chevron's Tower, it's a breeze. It's very simple. The layout is borderline static. Prisoner's Gate, static. Follow the road, get to Western Forest. Follow the cliffside, you'll get to the skill point quests. Western Forest, same exact thing. You follow the road until the waypoint, breaking the path until the wetlands, to the wetlands. Wetlands to Raislava to get your skill point. Otherwise, get back on the riverways. Get back on the road straight down until you hit the end of it, and then make a right turn to Southern Forest. Southern Forest, you want to hug the right hand side the entire way through. And like I said, when you cannot, you just use a movement skill to cross whatever gap is there. Cavern of Anger, fuck that zone. I don't know what to say. Beacon, you beeline straight to the end of it. Very, very simple layout. Pretty much borderline static. Tiny, tiny dead ends like the one I did hit, but nothing too crazy there. And the Brine King's Reef, fairly easy, or sorry, not fairly easy, fairly annoying because it seems the layout is completely random every single time, which is like the worst part, I would say, in Act 6 is definitely the Brine King's Reef, followed by an equally annoying Cavern of Anger and Lower Prison, but otherwise the rest is a breeze. How long does this act actually takes less than 20 minutes to complete, especially if you have good damage to take down the bosses, which will be like the longest part of it, I'd say. Like the skill point bosses and the Brine King himself, as well as Chevron and Brutus on top of the tower. Otherwise, though, like less than 20 minutes for Act 6 is more than enough. So that will cover Act 6. Next episode will cover Act 7, where things are a little bit different. It's not a whole lot longer, this act, but it is definitely not as quick as Act 6. So hopefully you learned a little something. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.